Okay, so we're going to call to order first the election board meeting. Please stand. Silence, please. Thank you.
Chairman Chickatano wishes to announce that this election board meeting was duly advertised in a local newspaper. At this time, we ask for public input on agenda items only regarding the election meeting. Hearing none, we'll go on. A motion is needed to approve and dispense with the reading of the minutes of the May 4th, 2021 election board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to ratify the following reports: the 2021 municipal primary certification of election returns and Northumberland County certification of computation and final certification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Any old business? Hearing none, we ask for any new business.
Just on new business, I just want to let people know our election people that work in that office are at training. That's why they're not here today. They're both getting ready for the election coming up in November.
At this time, we ask for any public input. Okay.
This is the new one. I'd like to call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Northumberland County Commissioners.
At this time, we ask for citizen input on agenda items only. Hearing none, a motion is needed to approve and dispense with the reading of the minutes of the Commissioners' public meeting held on Tuesday, July 6, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to pay all county and Lucas Fuels payrolls as submitted by the Human Resource Office with payroll number 14 in the amount of $739,076.16 and payroll number 15 in the amount of $734,851.97.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to pay all county and Lucas Fuel bills as submitted by the County Controller in the amount of $7,319,188.35 from June 26, 2021 to July 30th, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Announcements. A work session will be held on Tuesday, August 17th, 2021, beginning at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Conference Room. The next regular public meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, at 1 p.m. in the Public Meeting Room at the Administration Center, 399 Stadium Drive, Sunbury. The Northumberland County Courthouse, Administration Center, and related county facilities will be closed on Monday, September 6, 2021, in observance of the Labor Day holiday. A motion is needed to approve the employee status sheet list of new hires, individuals no longer employed, promotions, demotions, and transfers as items number 1 through 23.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
A motion is needed for the Commissioners to sign the state tax equalization voucher for transfers of real estate for the month of June 2021 as submitted by the Assessment Office.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Correspondence. 911 Funding 2020 Combined Report Review Summary on behalf of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency for Northumberland County 911 Office. A motion is needed to approve the following reports as listed on your public meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
A motion is needed to approve the sub-grant award notification for adult probation for project title Intermediate Punishment Treatment Program 21-22 for project period July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022 in the amount of $185,000. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to authorize a refund per the catastrophic loss real estate review policy on behalf of the Assessment Office for the following Northumberland County tax parcels. Parcel number 040-04-044-043 and parcel number 057-00-054-024-V.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion is needed to authorize the Planning Commission to enter into land development bonding agreements with owners and developers. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion need to authorize the expungement of the county parcel of real estate taxes for certain real property municipally addressed 245 West Fig Street, Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, also known as Northumberland County Tax Parcel Number 007-02-004-227, subject to demolition of the structures on the property and the Borough of Mount Carmel School District likewise agreeing to expunge their respective real estate taxes on the property.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
A motion needs to authorize the satisfaction of a judgment note dated December 30th, 2015, and filed December 31st, 2015, in the original amount of $3,500, based upon the Housing Authority of Northumberland County advising that Lawrence and Angela Mindler have continuously owned certain real property municipally addressed 1646 West Chestnut Street, Cole Township, Pennsylvania, as a residential property and otherwise compiled with the terms of the judgment note through the December 30th, 2020. Ratification.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion need to adopt the updated 2021 Northumberland County CDBG Home Program Procurement Policy.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion need to ratify Rockville Township CDBG budget modification for years 2019, 2020, and 2020-CV.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion need to allocate 2021 Northumberland County CDBG entitlement funding as follows, as listed on your public meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion need to allocate 2021 Northumberland County CDBG funding on behalf of OBO as directed by certifications from OBO's Delaware Township, Milton Borough, Mount Carmel Borough, and Ralphville Township.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion needed authorizing travel requests and attendance at the following workshop seminars as in accordance with the county's personnel manual travel reimbursement policy as listed on your public meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Solicitor report, Mr. Garrigan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Motion to adopt Resolution R63-21, contract between the Commissioners of Northumberland County on behalf of the county engineer and Wilson Consulting Group, PC, for the design for the replacement of County Bridge Number 142 located in Ralphville Township on Road T798, which is Burks Road, over the south branch of Roaring Creek in Northumberland County as a ratification.
Motion.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R64-21, professional services agreement between the Northumberland County Commissioners and Sarah Steigerwald Egan, Esquire, to serve as mental health, mental retardation review officer from August 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2021, to replace Michael Balducci, Esquire, who resigned from his position per the attached order.
Motion.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R65-21, lease agreement between the County of Northumberland on behalf of the Northumberland County Development Corporation and Lewis Township Recreation Complex Committee, who oversees Moser Complex, to lease Northumberland County tax parcel 02600009076.
Motion.
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R66-21, Amendment 2 to the Professional and Administrative Services Agreement between the Commissioners of Northumberland County on behalf of the Planning Department and CEDACOG for the administering and expending of the remaining balance of Northumberland County's CHIRP funds.
Motion.
Second.
On the question, All in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R67-21, Professional Services Agreement between the Northumberland County Board of Commissioners and Appraisal and Marketing Associates Incorporated on behalf of the Assessment Office for the assessment and appraisal of various types of property, subject to final approval by the solicitor.
Motion?
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R68-21, renewal of cleaning contract between the Commissioners of Northumberland County on behalf of the Magisterial District Judge William Cole and Donna Rompalo for the purpose of cleaning district office, justice offices located in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania.
Motion?
Second.
Question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R69-21, Commissioners' Budget Amendments as listed.
Motion?
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Motion to adopt Resolution R70-21, Agreements, Amendments, Revisions, Grants, Leases, and Reports between the Northumberland County Commissioners on behalf of the Human, Senior, and Social Services and the named service providers as listed, numbers 1 through 34. The above agreements, amendments, revisions, grants, leases, and reports are not with county employees, nor does their organizational contract list county employees as their principal in their corporation or on their board of directors, with the exception of contract number 15. Controller Grayson and District Attorney Matalevich are members of the CSO board.
Motion?
Second.
On the question, all in favor state aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
At this time, we ask for any old business. Hearing none, we'll ask for any new business.
Yes.
There's a county-owned covered bridge up at Rebuck, commonly referred to as the Himmels Church covered bridge. Wondering if the county has made any decision as to whether they're going to repair or tear down, or
Would be for our engineer, Mr. Hopta, to answer that question.
commissioners aren't aware of that accident that happened at that bridge.
I'm not.
Yes, I'm aware of that. I've taken an interest in the covered bridges,
Right.
if you're aware of that lately.
Well,
And,
the repairs we
and I've been out to Himmels Bridge, and I'm aware of what happened. The engineer did talk to me about that, and we're in the process of possible litigation against the individuals or company that did that, and we are going to do some repairs to that and get that, back to normal. I may be stopping over there this afternoon to take a look at it.
I know they're going to have their annual.
Yeah, it's a beautiful bridge. I was out there and took a number of pictures at it.
Just shows that those barriers, height barriers, have nothing to do with stopping.
Well, when you hit them, they're supposed to,
Not to prevent.
when you see them, you say, I'm not gonna try this, and if you're aware of the height of your vehicle, you're sure not gonna try to go under that. And I don't know if these individuals from out of the area, whatever, but they tried to go through that or under it, and they caught the top of it and did a lot of damage. So, yeah, we're gonna take care of that.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You can stand, if you want to make a comment, just state your name, where you're from, and
My name is Patty Zbolaski, and I'm a resident of Zerby Township. And I'm here today as a spokesperson for the Citizens United to Stop the Timber Project in Zerby Township. And I have some of my fellow concerned citizens along for some moral support. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to voice our concerns over this project and further development of the AOAA Authority trails on the Western Reserve. I will take about 5 minutes of your time. I would like to quote one of our members, which reflects the overwhelming sentiment of Zerby Township residents. What is most disturbing to the citizens at the very core of all of this is that our elected officials, whom we chose to represent our best interests, chose to proceed into the agreement without our knowledge of the plans. Mr. Porzy asked me, How do we find out about the project? One citizen attended the Zerby Township Supervisors meeting last month. That citizen informed another citizen who informed another citizen who happened to be my neighbor. After that, we organized. Since the AOAA is an authority established through the Northumberland County Commissioners, we, the taxpayers, have a right to know and should have a voice to express opposition or concerns on any project put forth which directly impacts our quality of life. I would add that we are not here to debate the economic gain touted nor the improvement made to the strip barren land, but rather the force in which elected officials have barreled through, or in this case, attempted to barrel through, which appears to be without much regard to how we, the taxpayers, feel about intrusions to our quality of life. I would ask the commissioners, would you want a timber project in your backyard for the next 2 years, or potentially have trail riders for the long term? Some of the AOA authority leased land borders our properties. Some of the people you see represented here. That is our scenario. In addition to the quality of life issue, residents raised valid concerns, including but not limited to increased water runoff. Current problems have cost residents thousands of dollars in waterproofing, replacing paved driveways, stone repair, replacing your gravel driveways, and the list goes on. We spoke to people, door to door. I can say that with all honesty. Another concern, a strain on the Zerby Township sewer plant due to the increased storm runoff. A strain on Zerby Township roads, which are already in deplorable condition. Traffic safety, as disturbing our environment will disrupt our wildlife. We have deer, we have turkey, we have fox, we have coyote, we have a bald eagle, which would lead to an increase in accidents on Route 225, which is in front of many of the citizens here. It runs directly in front of our homes. In closing, through grassroots organizing, in a 3-week time period, we were able to inform citizens of this proposed project by going door to door. We requested articles from our local newspapers. We gained the attention of WBRE-TV and Fox 56 News, which aired the stories in support of our cause. By talking with folks, I can state with confidence that an overwhelming majority of Zerby Township residents do not support the timber project nor any trail development on or near highly residential areas in Zerby Township and Trevorton. In fact, utter contempt is a very gentle adjective that I'm using here today, has been expressed by residents toward the AOAA authority. Today, we present our petitions with 222 signatures against the timber project. So we ask, as Citizens United to stop the timber project, number 1, the project be canceled. Number 2, since our elected officials come and go, the cycle of life with elections, we're requesting a legal document stating that for as long as the AOAA authority leases the land, which is, I believe, a 50-year lease currently, we are requesting No timber projects will be carried out on our mountain or in highly residential areas of Zerby Township. No trail development near residential areas which may provide direct access to Zerby Township residential areas, including the village of Trevorton. We are Citizens United to stop the timber project, and we have spoken, and I thank you for the opportunity. I may add, on top of the petitions that I'll present to you, is a letter from a 93-year-old resident who lives, well, she's my neighbor, and her son happens to be here, and I believe he's going to want to give his own input. But I ask that you please take this into consideration and stop the timber project.
Let me, before anyone speaks, do you want to talk at all, Jeff?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here and voicing your concern, because Commissioner Chairman Chickatana is going to address this. We've talked about this, and it's gotten to the point where it's out in the public. And but go ahead, Sam.
First of all, so everyone's aware here, and again, thank you for coming. And listen, I appreciate the people who did call and talk to me, because that was important also. But we years ago, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, gave the AOA permission to timber the 7,000 acres that we have up on that AOA grounds. Before, and most of the timbering is done in places where there's no residential places. I don't think anybody, as far as the commissioners were aware that, where they were doing a study to possibly do timbering out in Trevorton Road. And I think all of you should have been aware that as soon as I became aware of it and the news article came, I said we would never do anything that would any way jeopardize the homes of you people. And that was a few weeks ago. I have talked to a couple of you. I told you that we would never do that. I had talked to Mr. Backus and the AOA. They are completely on board with that. The project was stopped a while ago. I think I know some of you weren't sleeping well, and I wanted that not to happen, so I did make some calls, and I said to pass that around that this project would not occur. Of course, again, Jim has a board and everybody has a board, but we'll have the final say on what would happen there. Again, most of the timbering done out there does not affect anybody. Usually the AOA will come and say we're going to do 500 acres somewhere, and it's up on the top of the mountain. Nobody was aware of this. You do not have to worry. Nothing will be done on the side of Trevorton Road Mountain. I promise that. Okay.
Yeah, I just have to say that while Joe and I weren't aware of it, as soon as Commissioner Chickatana became aware of it, he called us into the conference room, told us about it, told us the issues and some of the complaints that were going on. I had no idea that it was going on. And I don't know when Joe found out, but it was, I think, that day that Sam decided, got us all together, and we just decided, listen, this is going to end. And I said, end? When did it start? And what was this all about? So we apologize for not knowing. And then Sam assured us that he would call the AOA and take care of it. And so I deeply apologize. And if any of you have called and left me messages, some people have, please let people know that it is taken care of. As soon as we found out about it, we did something about it. So we're deeply sorry that we did not know. But I want to thank Sam for doing something about it as soon as he was aware of, and making us aware of it so that we could do our job. So.
Yeah, to my knowledge, you residents out in that area of Zerby Township, you have enough problems with the water runoff and things right now, and you don't need any more. And I'm a property owner myself in I understand the issues involved with all this kind of thing. I sure wouldn't want to be supportive of anything like this that would complicate your situations that you're already having out there with the way it is now. So,
Can I
yep.
just say something, please?
Sure, Jeff.
So, with that said, and I thank you both, all three of you, for what you're saying, my concern is that down the road, like she said, when you three may not be sitting there, and the AOA says to some other commissioners, hey, let's do this, and those three commissioners decide, yeah, what the heck, there's my concern right now. I know you've got our back, but I'm concerned in the end, do we need to have something in writing for you people that this will never, ever be talked about again in our lives?
I mean, you would know more than me with this, Jeff, but here's the issue with that.
That's my concern right
Even
now.
if,
Two pages.
even if we would do that,
They can undo.
10 years down the road and somebody wants to do it, you get three other commissioners that want to do it, they can do it. I mean,
So there's nothing you can
we
do to
can't
stop
say
that?
we can stop that forever, because whoever the commissioners are in 5 years can say, well, we'll check with our legal team.
Well, you know,
You gotta check into that. I'm sorry, I don't really agree with that.
well, there's a lot, you know, let me just say, there is a lot of power on a board that takes these seats, whether it's us or another board. And I think you heard Sam say that there's a 50-year lease, and in that lease, it does include timbering. Despite that, though, we were able to stop it, okay? And that's a legal document. So we could create another legal document, and it might give you some security, but just as we made a decision to say we don't care what it says in here, that could be done again. I think that's what Sam's saying. But I understand your points, well taken, and we'll have to consider that, what we could, you see what I'm
I
saying?
understand, but
Yeah.
I appreciate anything you can do
Right.
to make this never happen to us again in our lives out there on that Trevor Road. We don't deserve that as taxpayers.
I mean, you know.
I'm not yelling at you guys, I'm just saying thank you.
I think, I have to say this because, and I've spoken with the other commissioners about this, I think this is a really good example of why one of us or future boards needs to be on that board. We don't have a place on that board to sit and hear what they're thinking about, what they're voting on, what they're considering, and how they're developing it. And I'm an advocate for having not only one of us, but future commissioners, so that we are answerable to people. Because it is an extension of us. Even though it's its own entity and it pretty much runs that way, I think that it would be wise for us to encourage members of the AOAA to make space for us to have a seat on that board so that we can be present. Yeah.
Again, I'm going to thank all three of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
My name's David Brining. I own one of the properties that share the common property line with the county land. I have a possible solution if you would give it some consideration. Several years ago, Patty's dad, myself, 3 other residents, we purchased county land adjacent to our property. We had a preliminary survey done. We bid on the land. We were awarded the bid, and we each obtained the land directly behind our property. Could you possibly give us some consideration into purchasing the land behind our property on that side of the mountain?
Buffer
We have
zone.
a beautiful valley there. We want to keep it beautiful. We want to keep it residential. I'm an AOA member too, and I admit it to these people, but I try to do it properly and respect the rules. And I stay off that side of the mountain. And I try not to interfere. But if this is an option, because we have done this in the past, purchasing from the county our adjacent land, we would like to have the opportunity to do the same thing once again.
I think we'd look into that, but to be consistent, we have requests for people to buy adjacent properties all the time. And I think there would be a bidding process even if that occurred, but the issue is, once we start doing it, and that's this group here, once we start doing it, then you can't turn anyone down. We'd end up selling, someone someone has an acre of land and they say, we're by the county, we're adjacent to the county land, we want to buy 10 acres off you, you did it to these people, you have to do it to us. And we get to a point, we'll be selling land all the time, and I just don't think that's what we're in the business for. I mean, we'll talk about it. I understand that, but we have people who in town up by Faust Field who wanted to buy the whole back of Faust Field because their house is adjacent to it, and we didn't do that. Just again because if I have an acre of land and I add 10 acres of county land, that improves my property, but there might be other people adjacent to it that might have wanted to buy it too. I don't think we're in to be a land sales group.
From what I understand, there's a 5-acre limit back when Larry Kinder was in the tax office.
Yeah. Well, there might be. I don't know about that. I mean, we'll look into it, but I right now can't promise that we're going to start selling land to adjacent property owners. I just don't know if we want to be in the market for that. Not that we want to hurt anybody. I mean, we plan on never doing anything that would in any way interrupt someone who has a home anywhere that's adjacent to county land. That's as long as we're here, we'll promise that. But, all those issues. I understand that. And again, we'll talk it over, but we have requests, all the time, every month about people. There's some up in Mount Carmel that want to buy a couple acres behind the properties there, and I'm just not sure we want to do it. We'll look into it, though. I'll tell you that, okay? If you want to leave your number with Karen, and we'll get back to you on that, okay? Sure, thank you.
I do like the idea of a buffer zone, though, like specific lots pulled out to know and acknowledge. I like that idea. So, definitely we should keep talking about it.
Just one more point to what Ms. Beth had to say. The inclusion of a commissioner on the AOA Authority Board, I like that idea. But I've also thought they went through pretty many communities without much regard or knowledge to the citizens. So why not also a citizens advisory board? Because the things that they are doing directly impact the residents.
I think when they went into any of the communities, the people in charge of those communities, the commissioners or whatever they were, gave them permission to do that. I don't think they went on into any Shemokins or Trevortons or anywhere without permission to be able to do that. So,
Well, Shamokin developed, they have an ordinance, but Mr. Corsi did tell me 3 people came out to the meeting, and had one citizen not informed us, we may be in that very same boat today. So a lack of communication, if they want to be good stewards of our community, will start involving the people who are impacted by all of your actions in a direct or indirect way. People's voices matter.
well, we can talk to the AOA about that. A board that would include, the surrounding property, municipalities that were surrounding it, and we'll see what they say. But again, that would be a discussion that we'd have to have with them.
Just a thought.
Yeah.
Public meetings.
On it, yeah.
I thought any public entity, the meetings are advertised and open to the public, so the public can go to these meetings, just like you can come here or to a Northumberland County Housing Authority meetings or whatever.
One member
So-
from Zerby sits on that board. Okay,
Right.
yeah.
Which,
That's not a good thing what's going on there. I'm sorry. May I just say one more thing, if I may? Mr. Schwartz is who you're talking about? That who you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Schwartz. So he's a township supervisor, but if I'm not mistaken, he's also the treasurer for the AOAA? Is that true?
No, I don't know.
Conflict of interest.
I don't know of that.
Conflict of interest there. The only way we found this out was somebody who was at that meeting, like we said, at Cork, is the operation of timbering, actually went in there to let them know that this was going to be going through. They actually went to one of the people in our township, on Trevorton Road, to ask them $1,000 to have them use their road to go through, way beforehand. This is wrong, folks. This is wrong what's going on there. And they need to be accountable for what they're doing. Because I think right now I'm going to describe them as prime rib, and we're nothing but chopped liver. That's the way I'm going to describe it to you. So we need to look at action what they're doing, and they need to take responsibility. And I'll say no more, but...
Thank you. And sir,
You gotta smarten up with this.
sir,
I'm telling you.
and what's your name, sir? I don't,
You know what?
Jeff Marquette, okay, yeah. Okay. All right, thank you, Jeff. I just wanted to, yep, thank you.
Good to see you again.
Yep, thank you.
Hey, anybody else?
That's the whole issue right there in a nutshell. You need to get representation, somebody on the board, as Commissioner Best suggested, because, you know, I come to the work sessions. How many other community, out of all of Northumberland County, how many other citizens come to the work sessions? Me, myself, and I hadn't done that with when the COVID has been. It's not publicly known, all these backdoor things that are going on. They just say, we have the right to do it, and they're going to do it. And then only because they needed access to get up there is what stirred it all up and brought it to their attention, which I saw in the paper, which I knew. I thought, how could that happen? But it could happen anywhere. There needs to be somebody holding our back door there. They have too much carte blanche. I like that AOAA keeps giving back money, you know, and that buys some credit. However, you know, I think they need to be called notice, served notice by the commissioners that this has caused a lot of mistrust in the community.
I think there has been talk with the AOA this past year to do what we're all suggesting to do. Okay, but that only can occur at the end of the year.
But if to put something in writing, you know, to report that, you know, at this meeting, we gave our, you know, the board gave our carte blanche as long as we're here, you know, we're not in agreement with this, and this came out, so we'd like an open discussion as far as the community or the county having a representative on their board.
Again, I think that has been discussed, and I think will happen in the near future. Okay? Yes?
In regards to what Ms. Best also said was, you do have a representative from the county on that authority, on that board of authority. So I would think it would be incumbent upon him to let you guys know what's going on.
Who do you mean, sir? I'm sorry.
Mr. Mack?
No, he's
no longer
no,
with-
he doesn't
with
work
us.
here anymore. No. Yeah.
Apologize, but it's still-
That's okay. But I mean somebody that's held accountable to you all. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because I don't believe, I mean, while the AOA meetings are public and they're advertised, but I don't think it's common that press attends, so it doesn't get cast out wider. So that's why I think it's important, anything that goes on with county property, that somebody's there, sort of higher responsibility, and then discussed here where it does get cast out more widely through the press.
May I ask, Mr. Mack was an officer, so may I ask who replaced him, Mr. Garrigan?
He's on the, is he on the board?
AOA, he doesn't work for the county.
He doesn't work for the county. He's on the board, but he's not associated with the county.
He was listed as the county planning director.
He used to
He
be
used to
long
be.
ago.
He used to be.
That was 7-8 years ago.
Yeah. Yep,
Our planning director is right there,
right here.
and he does a heck of a job.
Yeah.
Well then, I mean, that needs to be updated on the AOA website, because it's very misleading
Yeah.
and leads to more distrust.
Yeah. Because if you look at how that board was constructed, you had somebody from the county, you had somebody from the township, and you had somebody who's a DCNR volunteer. The way that's constructed, we really had some low rate of success from our point when we saw the way it was constructed. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
You have something?
I do.
Chris has, go ahead.
Just this, actually, with this week's meetings, Karen, can you elaborate just a little bit about us having to have our agendas posted on our website, right? We had to put retirement on, and we had to put this agenda on.
Law requires that. The law requires that.
Okay, so
It's-
for authorities as well?
I don't know if it's for authority. Yeah, any elected, are they elected? Or any public board? Because they're a municipality, they would fall under that.
So then future agendas for their
Correct.
meetings are going to now have to show up on their website, because we literally just started doing that this week.
24
with our
hours prior to that, prior to any meeting or vote taken. So there's that. Now, I think a lot of people, I have to dispel something, I think, and it's not for you folks, it's sort of for these folks. A lot of people think that that is land that the commissioners control, day-to-day operations and decision-making. You have to think of it much like if I were a landlord and I leased my property to Mr. Claybon and he had a business. I don't tell him day to day how to run his business, what his website looks like, do you understand what I'm saying? And I certainly don't sit at his business meetings and make decisions. A lot of people, I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to push off responsibility because we do have a relationship with them. But I think a lot of people think that we're in control of their events, their websites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Decisions made, or that they have some, that they must bring everything through us. That's not the case. That's why I'm an advocate of just having like a set of ears and eyes on there for one of us to be on the board. And we are, as Sam said, he is working on that. But I just wanted to say for the press that is here, I get a lot of phone calls that expect that we can somehow do something about fill in the blank. Okay, that is their own authority. They're their own municipal board, and they vote and they have their meetings, and it proceeds much like this board. So I just want people to understand that. Yeah.
Anybody else? Yes?
I just have one question. Does the county own that tract of land that we're talking about right now? Do they own that land all the way out through Zerby and Cole Township, or does it stop at Zerby? Is the Zerby line right there at the dollar store, Dollar
Right.
General?
The land that the AOA uses is a lot of it, I think we have 7,000 acres leased from us, but there is property that the AOA has purchased on its
Their
own
own.
also. So I think some of that tract might have been purchased by them that they own outright, but most of the land that they use for their activities are leased out of the county land.
Because I live right across the Zerby line, right as soon as you get into Cole Township, and I was told 30 years ago when I bought the place that behind me it was owned by the Reading. It was owned by the Reading, and as far out, till
They could have purchased it from Reading, I don't know that.
until now, nobody ever said nothing about it. Nothing.
I say the same thing. We always thought Reading owned that property behind us. We really
Yeah.
did. I was totally amazed when I heard that you guys own which is,
That amazed me. I thought, well, how far do they, maybe they only own to Zerby, to the end of the Zerby line.
Well, actually, out at the AOA, there are maps that you could go out there as a citizen and look at the maps and actually see what you're talking about.
GIS.
And there's a county
Oh, yeah,
GIS map that you
upstairs
can look
GIS
at
map.
You could go on your
on the
or
computer.
your phone.
You could look on the computer and actually bring it up where you're talking about, and it will show you who owns it. But there are maps up the AOA also.
The court, the Northumberland County Court of Deeds, they wouldn't have any idea.
It's better to go through upstairs. You find the parcel number, and then they can tell you who owns that. But GIS is a computer data center that collects that information, and there's online access to that as well.
The AOA is always adding land on their own that they're buying from, different coal companies or Reading Railroad and to expand. And, of course, we have no control over that. I don't know what they have, though. I don't know if they have that, what you're talking about. That's something we'll have to look at.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, the landowner that I bought was John Clark. And he said to me, he says, behind it, he says, you going halfway up the mountain,
Okay? Anyone else? Yep.
Just a quick word. You know, you said you already put an end to the project. Thank you for that. In the future, if you could possibly try to be more informative and more open, that would have got published at the time you did that, we could have avoided all of this and a lot of sleepless nights.
Well, when that was said, it was said by me that I would put an end to the project. But before I could officially do that, I, of course, needed to
Right.
meet with 2 other commissioners and talk to them about it. At that time, you know, we weren't in meetings that week. Joe was away, and we didn't get a chance to discuss it. And then when I did discuss it with them, I did tell both of them that we would stop the project, and I did that. I think I told Jeff that, and I told him not to say that at that time, because I didn't want people to be distressed and have problems.
I will say also, it wasn't clear when he was working on that, what authority, if any, we had, right? So we didn't know if this was property that they owned themselves. Was this our lease property? We weren't exactly sure where the lines went ourselves. We needed to make sure that this was something that we could even have any authority over. And that's, you know, and that contract, that lease with them was just not renewed. I just revisited that a little bit ago to look up timbering issues. So that was unknown to me until I pulled the contract. So it did take a little bit of time to put all the pieces together to realize what property it was, what authority, if any, we had, and who was going to discuss it with us. And I do appreciate that Mr. Chickatano, you know, did make us aware of all of it, and let us weigh in on all of it. So it just, we're so sorry it took time. I'm very sorry about that.
All right, thank you for your time.
Well, my husband went to school with Jim Backus. Something's not adding up in my brain as I'm hearing you all talk. Jim Backus told us the county initiated the project, and they were the managers. So,
I don't know what that
I'm
is.
here to tell you,
I mean, am I right?
Huh?
So as you're speaking, all of a sudden, my brain's
No.
clicking, thinking, no,
No.
wait, back up. Because we called him as soon as we found out to get some perspective on the whole thing. And that's what we were told, that it was initiated through the county because it creates revenue. They were asked to manage it. They are getting nothing out of it.
Well,
That's exactly what we were
Well,
told.
and Jim probably said that, but it was initiated.
probably
Well,
position,
well,
yeah.
well, let me say this, not that project. What was initiated, that we gave the AOA permission to timber through the AOA 7,000 acres that we have. We gave, because it wasn't up to us to go up and see where you can cut. And again, most of the timbering that is done out there, and some of it is actually makes the forest better out there. But this project, if you're saying we initiated this project, that's false. We initiated a few years ago that we gave the AOA permission to look into timbering the 7,000 acres we have. Whenever they do the 7,000 acres, they go and see where they can, you know, it's best to do it, where it's going to help the environment, where it's going to, and then they'll come to us and say, we're going to timber this property. This case, if you're insinuating that we initiated to go in Trevor Road and do that, that's not true.
But I'm not insinuating, I'm just saying, based on the conversation my husband had with Mr. Backus, that's what
And again,
we were led to believe. So I'm happy to hear your explanation.
that's true. 3 years ago.
that was one of the reasons when I was saying that I recently pulled the lease, because that's how this came up. Sam found out they were timbering, and this wasn't this timbering, okay? This was like a year ago probably, or 6 months ago. Wanted to know, did they have the authority to do that? Like, what's going on, and that's when I read it. This project, we knew nothing about, but I also want to tell the press something else. I had a phone message at my other office saying that the reason that the three of us, made a decision to timber that land was for a budget shortfall, that we were doing it to generate revenue. That is a complete rumor. A complete and utter rumor. We had no idea, and as soon as we found out where it was, that it was property that we would have some sort of authority to speak on, we did that immediately. That, I have to dispel that rumor, because somebody did leave that message on my phone. That's
But
not
once
true.
we found out where this was,
Yeah.
like the other commissioners said, we don't know where they're looking at timber and whatever. We don't micromanage everything to that point. But once we found out where this was going to occur, I was like, I'm totally against this, and we talked about it, and we were all like the same opinion that it's not going to happen, and that's it. It's not going to happen.
Thank you very much.
And just to finish up, so when we did this contract with AOA, and then I'm going to, we'll be done. When we do timber, again, it's most of the time they come in and say, this is going to help the forest. It's going to, have the seedlings be able to grow, because they'll be like, the whole issue. But the money that is a gain from that doesn't go to the AOA. It's always divided between three entities: the county, the school district that the property is in, and the municipality. So when they go, and most of the time when they go to do this, they have to do it because it's getting so crowded. It's overcrowded with the trees, and they cut them down. Everybody's sort of, and they're out where nobody's at. This is a whole different issue. This came about. I'm glad, it's settled, and I'm glad you made us aware as soon as we did. And again, as soon as the paper made the phone call and said this is being done, I explicitly said in the paper, we would never do anything to harm any house or citizens in our county, and that's what we pledge to do, and that's what we're going to do. Okay? Okay. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.